Check two.
Test, test. You can hear me. That's good. That's great. Okay, that'd be great. And then you introduce me, and then
Testing 2, 3. Check 2, 3.
All right, thanks. Okay, all right. So we're gonna get started. Okay, so hello everyone that's in the room, the few of us that are, and greetings to everybody that's at home, checking in online. Today we will have as our presenter Sergeant Cruz, and he'll be talking about fraud and identity theft. He's one of Prince George's finest. He's one of their police officers. They have a few that actually do these presentations, and so after hearing one of their presentations online at a community event, I found that it was interesting and helpful to me. And so I wanted to share it with you all because fraud and identity theft is becoming very big throughout not just the county, the state, but the entire world for the most part. And so we wanted to make sure that at least you were armed and had some information to be able to make a wise decision, to know when to respond, when not to respond, and what to do in different situations. So today you're going to receive from Sergeant Cruz a lot of helpful information that will help you to, one, identify it, two, know how to deal with it, and three, know how to go and find information that can be helpful to you. So hopefully you'll learn something, hear something during the course of the day that will help you out during his presentation. So I'm going to turn it over to Sergeant Cruz. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat, and we'll see if we can get around to asking those questions while he's here. So thanks for joining us, those in the room and those online.
Test, test. Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, just after 12. Hopefully, everyone got their lunch already. I won't make it too long, but I won't make it too short. So I'll be in that medium area where everybody has all the information that they can arm themselves with. But first of all, I am Acting Sergeant Cruz from Prince George's County Police Financial Crime Section. A little bit about myself. I've been on the department almost, it's going on at the end of the year, it'll be 20 years, January. So I've been doing this for a very long time. This was one of my first areas of work in the we call this Adams sector. Yeah. I worked Baker sector, which is like College Park, Annapolis Road, New Carrollton. That was my first area to be. And from 2005 to 2008, I went to Adams sector, which I was all over this area. This is Adam 1 beat. I did contracting as secondary employment at Brentwood, North Brentwood, so I know this area very well, and I support the community as I should as a patrol officer. Right now, I did investigations for this area as well, district level investigations where I worked persons crimes, any assaults, missing children, some property crimes, some robbery. So I did that for a couple of years, and now I'm in financial crime section for the past around 8 years. So, yeah, 20 years, financial crime section. We have a unit. We have a unit around 7. Right now, I'm filling in for retired Sergeant Sheehan, who just recently retired. And me and her, we've been doing these for years of community events and coming around the community and trying to spread knowledge, because we know fraud is it's probably the #1 crime. You know, granted, violent crime is rampant all over the place, but this is the #1 crime, especially identity. In the room, how many people have been a victim of identity theft? All of us. So before I get into identity theft, I want to run into a couple of scams that are trends. So we have trends, we have scams, we have identity theft, which all kind of come into this fraud. And now we're going into the cybercrime as well. I don't do the cybercrime, I do a little bit, but I have one person who actually specifically does cybercrimes. But I want to thank you all for joining me as well. First, also want to explain that a lot of these targets with fraud is in the elderly community, the seasoned adults, I want to call them, because we're, I don't want to call anybody elderly. You're seasoned. You have experience in this world. But with technology, in the uprise, a lot of, especially my parents, it's hard for them to understand. So us young bucks want to go and explain it to my father and the seasoned personnel. It's good for you to reach out to your younger folks to explain these, because you could be falling victim to these scams. So the first scam I want to talk about is the grandparent scam. Basically, a caller pretends to be a grandchild who's been arrested and in need of bail money. Has anybody ever heard of this scam before? Or has everybody ever called saying, Grandma, Grandpa? Yep. You heard what I was saying, right? What was your story?
Oh, they did. My mother like that. And he kept saying, Grandma, Grandma. And she was like, Carlton, is that you? And she said, you're not my grandchild. But he kept on. And then he called back another time and I got him. I will call my house again.
So as I was explaining earlier, I'm Acting Sergeant Cruz from Prince George County Financial Crimes Unit. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to be talking about identity theft and fraud and a lot of trends that are going on as well. But the first one I was talking about is grandparent scam, because a lot of times that happens. You know how much money they usually a lot of times they give out and wire or pick up. We'll talk about 10, 20, even 30 grand. So I had a case where somebody called and said, it could be male or female, it doesn't matter. Someone said, hey grandma, hey Johnny. I'm just saying Johnny, as it could be any name. But basically what happened was they said, Johnny, is that you? Yes, I'm in Jersey, somewhere else. And basically what happened was she said, yeah, I just don't tell mom, don't tell dad. You know what they're doing? Trying to isolate yourself from everybody else, trying to create distance. Don't tell mom, tell dad, I've been in a car accident. And within the car accident, the lady was pregnant. I'm going to jail, but my bail's mine. But they could, if I give this lawyer $5,000, $8,000, $10,000, they will reduce the charge or try to get out of it. Or it could be for bails or for bail, either way. So I need you to call this number and talk with them so I can get out of jail. So sometimes when that happens, they get a call, or they call the person who is part of this scam, and it could be from anywhere. It could be overseas, it could be local, it could be in another state. We don't know. A lot of times it's overseas or in another state. And basically they give you instructions what to do. And they say if you don't pay up the money, that he's going to go to jail for a very long time. So what happens as a caring grandparent, a caring mother, father, they build this emotion from you, and what you do is impulse, you're going to wire the money. What the trend is right now is they're using Uber or using Lyft to actually have the victim, which is yourself, and get cash out of a Bank of America, Wells Fargo, whatever banking institute, pick up the cash, put it in an envelope, write some notes on it, put it in a box, and wait for them to pick it up. So this basically Uber or Lyft, they come over, they pick it up, and they take it to somewhere, a mule, which is somewhere in another area or maybe close, to pick up the item. And then what they would do is they send it somewhere else. So they try to keep distance. So that's why, because I found this out, because we got a hit of a tag number. So with the tag number, I was able to track it down. And when I saw the car, I was like, Uber, Lyft. I was like, okay, they're using that right now for that purposes, just to separate themselves from the crime itself. We have some success and some not, but once they get greedy, they get caught. So what's tips to do? Verify. Number one thing to do is verify, or hang up. I would hang up. Who is this? It's an unknown number. I don't know. Screen your calls. That's what I do. Let it go to voicemail. If it's that important, they will leave a message. I tell you know what? I put that on my wife. My wife makes fun of me because you know what I say? I say in my voicemail box. I say if you do not leave a message, I will not call you back. I say leave your name, a message, phone number, or a text, and I'll give you a call back. If you do not, I will not call you back. Sometimes I know the number, I'll call back, but I just do that for anybody who doesn't know me. Because what's your purpose for calling me? Unless you want to speak to me. They said I'm passive aggressive on that, on my messages, but that's how paranoid. I'm hyper vigilant now. So we had some success with grandparent scam. We had a federal case with Montgomery County, Montgomery County, and basically it went to Dominican Republic. So it ended up going overseas to DR. We had some prosecutions over here. We had some success with that. Publishers Clearinghouse scam. You won $1 million. Oh my goodness. Have you have one of these? Do you want to take one of these? Here you go. Oh, you got that one? All right. So, who has won $1 million? I had a couple cases such as that, and I have one that actually I tell that to everybody. I tie it into a romance scam. So it's kind of. Does everybody know what a romance scam is? So a lot of people who are lonely or anything goes on these apps or Facebook messages, and basically the suspect basically builds rapport with you, smooth talks you, and then they say they're a Nigerian prince or somewhere overseas, and they want you to marry them, and I need you to send me money over to Africa or to Costa Rica or wherever you want to go, or whatever country, and just keep paying because I need you to pay for my visa to come back. But if you're rich, why don't you pay for it? Why don't you pay for it? Get your own passport. So that's kind of, and then basically they entice you, and that's part of the scam, the romance scam. The romance scam is scammers make contact in the dating site, social media, email, and they give a report, and eventually have an emergency, and they need money. Or they want you to pay them to come over to this country because we are in the best country in the world, as I always say. So you keep getting, they build a report and keep getting money. Sometimes we had cases where they still think they're still going out with the person. And then because their child or everything, like, hey, mom, you're a victim. This is not a real person. And it's tough because then you have to talk to them and be like, listen, they don't need the money. If they were a prince or they have money, they should be able to come over. They should be able to come here. So lottery scam, basic publisher clearinghouse scam. You'll won $1 million but have to pay taxes. You have to pay taxes for this $1 million or now it's like to be even enticing, it'd be like, let me get $350 million, right? Before $1 million, like because of how much before, like in the 90s, $1 million was like the best thing since like bread. Now it's a lot, but it's like $30 million. And you're like, all right. They will come to you with a big cardboard in the air with the video and come to your house and knock on the door. And that's how they will give you your money, kind of. That's the only way. So I had a case. Let me talk about a case that I had. Basically, my victim's name is G. I call him G. I don't want to say his name. Poor guy. He's always getting victimized, especially the text scams, too. And it's sad. And I tried calling his wife. He doesn't want me to call his wife, and I'm trying to help him out. So what happened with him is he won $1 million. He got it from the mail. He got it from the mail. And it said he won like, I don't know, $3.5 million. So then he called a number on the paper. And that's the biggest mistake you did. So they're like, okay, what bank do you have and such, and you have to pay taxes. So he started giving them money, like $10,000. So what he did was, and he knows he did it, but he didn't tell me. He gave him access to his bank account in the Bank of America. So what they made it look like is that they gave him $30,000 which they didn't. They actually took it from his savings, put it into his checking, and confused him. So what he did, the next thing you know, they had his bank account, they wired the money to Wisconsin or somewhere in the West Coast. So while I was doing my investigation, I basically were, going over, trying to follow the money. I traced the money, and that's what I do. I try to track the money, which is good. It hit this person who was part of a romance scam. So I had help with, I contacted the FBI, say, hey, do you know this address? Have you ever, because I got this person's bank information, and I got her account number, and I found out it went to Costa Rica. So after that, I was like, all right, I need somebody to interview. They're not going to send me over there to Wisconsin or wherever to the West Coast. So I had their department go in, and an FBI agent contact me, and they said, hey, we actually interviewed her. So what happened was she was a mule for this person who's in, I don't know what country, but they were on a dating site, and she started giving money out to this person and wiring it to Costa Rica. So what am I going to do? I'm not going to charge her. She's elderly. She doesn't know what she's doing. So that was kind of one of those ones where, do I charge her or don't I charge her? I'm not going to charge her so what they did was they gave her a mule letter to FBI. I gave her a mule letter basically saying, a mule is basically somebody who's like a suspect, but not a suspect, like a person who's part of the crime, but not. Like, basically, they carry out the duties for the higher up, but it could be an unknowing person who's actually doing a crime, but part of the scheme. So they gave her a letter saying, hey, stop and sending money to this location and stop receiving money because she's part of the scheme. So after that, that victim, I had to close the case out. I closed it, exceptional, which means that I do have a suspect, but I would send it to the FBI for further investigation because it's going overseas. So it's out of my jurisdiction. I can't do more with it. But we had some suspects, and we're working that. We had another one where she got a letter in the mail again. So me and retired Sergeant Sheehan, we went out to this senior citizens home area, like it's assisted living, but she has her own house. We got the report, and we went right over there, and she basically for like 2 years was getting checks from them because she still thinks she's getting the money. She still thinks she's getting the money. So she gets the checks from them, takes and basically mails them in a box to an address in North Carolina. So we have a HSI, which is Homeland Security, to help us out and actually work that case with us. So when we interviewed her, she basically was like, hey, yeah, I won the lottery and everything like that. And we're like, do you really think if it's been 2 years, you think you wouldn't got your money yet? And then they were like, and I asked the question, do you still have, are they still giving you money? Well, I have $30,000 right here. I'm like, oh man, I was like, and I feel for people because it's a con game, it's a scheme, and it's sad because it's just like now because she defaults one bank institute, now nobody wants. She has another bank, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, whoever, and it's kind of like now you're messing with your living because you could be on the streets if you don't have any money. We don't want that. We want to help these citizens, and obviously we try to give her the proper counseling and everything. We refer her to all the some place called CAFE. It's a place where we kind of refer people to.
What are the people that have your last four of your Social Security number call you?
Well, I'll get to the identity theft in a few. That's another subject a little bit. I go with the scams and I'll go identity theft. That's another thing too. Identity theft is just like, it's rampant all over the place. It is crazy. Arrest warrant scam. You receive a text or voicemail requesting that you call local police department. They say your local police department or sheriff's. It's big with the sheriffs because obviously sheriffs come and get you if you have a warrant or summons or whatever, or serve summonses, or you're missing jury duty. But you have to, if you don't want to go to jail because you have a warrant, you pay me $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. It's a scam. Police department or any government agency besides the IRS, but they won't call you. IRS won't call you. They'll send you a letter, and you better pay. I don't say pay. If it's legit, you better pay because, you don't want that IRS to come after you. But they will not ask you to wire money, especially to an unknown bank account. It's one of those things. It's like it's scary because a lot of people don't have interaction with the police. Don't know that we're human just like you. We walk the streets. We have children. We conduct business every day. We're not just out to get people. We're here, and that's one of the things that people see TV and everything like that. We think we just go. No, we're not. I'm not here to just lock you up for a warrant. Unless it's legitimate, that's different. But I won't call you up. If I'm going to call you up, I'm going to be like, and I know you, and you haven't find you, and I actually have your phone number. Like, hey, just come to the police station. Come to the police station. If you really want to verify, you actually go to the police station or actually call a local law enforcement agency. Like, hey, I got this call for that I have a warrant, and basically you could verify. They can verify, but if you feel like somebody's going to get you, just go to the law enforcement police station and be like, hey, someone said I had a warrant, and then most likely we'll be like, it's a scam. Already covered, romance scam. You owe taxes, and now let's talk about the IRS. Tax season is it still on now? The extensions are still here. Really, January and February, I hit it hard with the IRS. IRS basically you get the calls that you owe taxes, or we'll talk about identity. Somebody use your identity to file taxes in their name. You do a police report, but you also have to contact the IRS because it's and Maryland Comptroller for Maryland, but those agencies handles tax fraud and stuff like that. Any questions so far? I'm not putting you to sleep, am I? Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure I'm not doing that. Let me talk about which one is it? Tech support scam. So tech support, you get a pop-up or urgent message from someone saying your computer is infected. A lot of the Microsoft scams we're talking about that I've been dealing with. It might a message come from a company, Microsoft, Apple, internet provider. They basically say there's a problem. You have to pay this amount of money, but I can fix you. But let me remote in. Let me remote in your computer. Do you know what you do when you remote into your computer? Let somebody remote into your computer. You know what that is? Yes, that is opening the door. That is opening them to your house for a burglar to get in. That's the same analogy. Guess what? You know what? They got your passwords because you save your passwords on your computer. They got your bank account information. I can go on your bank account information. It is scary. It is scary, and that's what I want to hit because we've been getting a lot of that. We recently just went to, I got a call from, I'll say Nassau Federal Credit Union saying, hey, this lady got scammed. I believe she scammed for gift cards. She's trying to get $40,000, $30,000 in gift cards and trying to send money to, she said that she's trying to take out money for Bitcoin. That's a big one, Bitcoin, from Coinbase. You know what Bitcoin is? No. Digital currency. Yeah. There's cryptocurrency. It's been over 10 years? It's been around 10 years or more. It's really big. A lot of people are trying to replace it for currency. I'm not a big proponent of that. A lot of people are, but I still think cash is king. That's what I think.
Computer here. Hold on. So everybody else can hear because they probably have the same question.
About the computer, because I had this to happen to me. All of a sudden, I was working on something, and all of a sudden, a big red sign came up on the computer, and it said to call Microsoft right away.
Yep.
Now, I'm asking the question: what happens if you just ignore that?
Well,
and go
ignore
away?
it and make sure you have an internet security. Do you have a Norton?
Yeah,
an
I have
antivirus or a malware type
Yes.
stuff. Make sure you have that.
Uh-huh.
Make sure you scan it. Make sure there's don't click on it. Just don't click on it.
Just leave it there.
Don't exit out or whatever, and I would scan my computer and everything like that. And if you still feel uncomfortable, you could actually, you could take it to, Best Buy has Geek Squad, whatever, to actually take a look at inside your computer to clean it out.
Oh,
if you feel
okay.
like they entered your domain,
Yeah.
which is your house. Your computer is like a home.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary out there, but
Yeah.
I would do that. I would have somebody.
But if you just leave it be and hoping that it'll go away.
But you don't know if they actually got.
Don't know that.
You don't know if you check it on email and they got it in your computer.
Oh, okay.
It's not
I see.
guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
These hackers out there, it's far beyond my intelligence right now because I'm kind of old school and I'm both. I'm like trending both. So the technology is so rapid. I'm losing touch, but I'm actually trying to keep up to date because of the trends and everything that's going on.
Right.
Okay, we have another question from online from Sister Lynette. And she said she received 2 messages that she needed to call these people back because her assets were at stake. Is this a common scam?
Yes, and I want to talk about that. It's called smishing. Smishing scam. And I brought a piece of paper. If you guys want, people online, come to the church. I have pamphlets out here in the front. So if you want to come, just come and pick up pamphlets of whatever I'm talking about today. I use it as bullet points because I've been doing this a long time. But I could talk about smishing. I'll read a little bit and I'll completely talk about it. Smishing, a text message or social media message received on any message application, either pre-installed or third party that impersonates legitimate organizations or service containing an urgent message or investment opportunity. It's called smishing. How's it work? The caller, the phone number will connect you to a scammer sitting in front of a script, kind of like what I'm doing right now. I'm just basically, I got this caller, and it's basically kind of like, it's like role playing almost. It's like they have their script. They have the schemes. They know what to do. It's probably laminated in a piece of paper. All right, I'm next. It's my shift. Let's go with the scam. Smooth operators, smooth talkers. I'm from New York, by the way, just letting you know. I am a smooth talker, but I'm trying to do the right thing. Basically, the script, like I said, this can issues with your bank account payments, invoices you owe. Don't click on it. Then again, because you never know what's on these messages. If you click on it, now you open up a website, and they're back. Now the keys to the kingdom are. You gave them the keys to the kingdom. Here, come in. Let's sit down right here. To avoid it, do not click on a telephone number. Do not reply to the message. Do not send anyone money over the phone, mail, or deposit into Bitcoin ATMs. Like I said, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin ATMs. We have a lot. I don't know how many. I didn't get a count. I'm gonna try to see how much I could get, how many ATMs we have in there. But if somebody tells you take out money out of your bank account and go to a Bitcoin ATM and deposit that cash, no, do not do that. There is no purpose for it. If the company's listed in a message, visit the official website. Official website. Go to their website. Get a legitimate number. Please call that number. They will probably say it's a scam because on their website they probably have it labeled as scams. Like Comcast, I know a lot of Comcast, a lot of Verizon, AT&T. Big one on Comcast, I've seen that before too. And WSSC. If you're a victim of smishing scam, call Prince George County Police. You call us. I'll give you the number for us at the end of this session. But it's called smishing. So let me get back to the text scam where I was going with this case that we just had. It's interesting because we got the call. So after the National Credit Union told me about it, I was like, okay, I'll assign it to one of the investigators, because we are so busy. But see if he could get to it. So he didn't end up getting into it that day. The next day, I got a call again saying she's trying to take out $300,000 from her account, or almost like a quarter mil, about $250,000, $300,000. Why? Because she says that she's trying to do investments from her family. She has no family. She's 77 years old, 79, 77, 79 years old. She lives alone. She has no family. What did we do? I immediately took one of my partners and went right to her house because I know there's something going on. So I went to her apartment, knocked on her door. Hey, I'm Prince George County Police. I'm doing a welfare check on you just because you might be part of us. You might be getting scammed. We're worried about you. The bank is worried about you. So the bank is doing their job, depending on what bank you have, but they are doing their job. So what happened was she didn't let me in at first. I have my ID, I have my picture ID and everything like that, but obviously skeptical. Everybody's scam artists now, right? Well, I'm here for a warrant. No, I'm not. I know. I was like, all right, let's and she said, oh, can we go downstairs? I was like, all right, let's go downstairs. So it is kind of intimidating. 2 police officers. I understand it's intimidating. But I try to come as calm, trying to even keel as I can to talk to citizens because I try to make them sure they're comfortable so they could give me information. So we sat downstairs, and she started giving me bits and pieces. So we started talking, and we said, I started going the whole, your name, how long you've been living here, are you by yourself, you have family members, why do you think that you need to invest in money? She doesn't need to invest in money. What using crypto? She was going on cryptocurrency, trying to put it to invest in cryptocurrency. Somebody's trying to get her to do it for cryptocurrency. So she said, "Oh, and I let them in my computer." I was like, "Oh my goodness." She let him in the computer. I was like, "Oh my goodness." And she was like, "You come upstairs and see." Boom. I was like, "Yes, let's go." Because I want to see her computer. So I got up to her, I saw her computer, and I put, she had one of those sticky, I put it over her camera because they're watching. They're in their computer still. So it's like I think it's somebody in India, biggest, I don't want to, say it's just India, but a lot of where the scam artist is India with the Microsoft scam. So my buddy comes and he opens up the browser and it shows that she's on Bitcoin and it's open. So it's open on Bitcoin. It's an open website live, and you could see she put like 50 grand and she already lost like 30 grand. So what they're doing is they're trying to invest the Bitcoin. And once you get to a reach point, they cash out. So that's what they're trying to do. But my buddy, he's better at he's better with the computers than me. He actually started wrestling with the guy. They actually was still remoted in. They called her, and first they called her, and she said, "Yeah, the police are here." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "You want to talk to them?" I was like, "Hi, Prince George County Police." They hung up. It's a key indicator that's someone who's not a good person. If it was legit, he would have talked to me, right? You're an investor. You would talk to me. Hey, what's going on? You would talk to me, but no, he doesn't want to talk to the police. If he had some, if he was strong enough, he would have cursed me out at least. They're scared. They don't want to talk to police. So what happened was my buddy started wrestling with the cursor, with the computer. So he was fighting the person who was in remote access. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, this is crazy. This is like, do I have to do a use of force on this with the computer? I was like, it's a joke. So he actually ended up cutting off the internet on the computer, so he was able to we kept the computer on. So if ever that happens, leave the computer on, don't shut it off, leave it on, but you can turn the internet off. Once you turn the internet off, you're good. They have lost access. So we shut down the internet for that computer. So he wasn't able to remote access. He lost remote access. So we held it, we cut it off. Like it's kind of like putting it in airplane mode on your phone. Cuts off everything. So we did that, and now we have the computer. We're going to be downloading it, trying to get all the information. So we'll see where my cybercrime investigator could track it. So it's kind of sad because now she's out at least over 50 grand, and she has no family, no nothing. She says she has a niece or something, or a cousin or something like that nearby, but she's basically alone. And I could tell she's kind of you could tell the dementia's kicking in a little bit. That there's signs, but she's not diagnosed. So I'm worried. So I had to call. Obviously, we called Adult Protective Services they said that she was okay, sound mind. I'm like, yeah, you need to talk to her a little more to say she's in sound mind. She's something's going on because if she's getting tricked, and we end up going back to her house again because I want to make sure I have all the proper documentation so we can actually download the computer. And she actually started admitting more that she thought it was a Microsoft scam. She finally admitted like it was a pop-up. It was a pop-up, Microsoft. And she gave the keys to the kingdom, and then she was able to get convinced to go to this Coinbase and try to invest in cryptocurrency. And that's how you lose that. That's how you lose $50,000 like that. And it's only in about a month. Just imagine if Nassau Federal Credit Union, which I give a lot of props to, didn't call me. She would have lost at least over $300,000. So, question.
Okay, so something that just happened to me recently, and I just thought about it when you came up with that scenario. So I was watching TV, and you know how they have the specials about buying this. In this case, it was a water hose, you know, the little shrinking water hose. So I decided I was going to purchase one of those. So I purchased it, and everything was cool. And then like 2 days later, I got a call saying, you purchased the water hose, and now we want to offer you a set of, I think they said some type of 14 karat jewelry, whatever.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, okay, so how do you connect jewelry to a water hose? But I'm like, okay. And so they started talking, and so I said, okay, well, give me your number, and I'm going to call you back. And like you said, click, they hung up. So that's normally a good cue when you say, I'm going to call you back, or give me more information or whatever. And then once they notice that you're sort of paying attention, a lot of times they'll hang up.
Exactly. So what's tips I recommend? Obviously, hang up the phone. Any scam artist calls you, hang up the phone. Call police. Educate yourself as well. What I'm doing, continue to educate yourself because it's an ongoing thing. There's new trends coming out every day. So a website is called ftc.gov, Federal Trade Commission.gov. They basically have a bunch of scams that are going on right now. I'm going to go into one scam that we actually did last year. That was actually this. I could talk about fraud probably like 5 hours, really, and then I could get your story. I try to keep it short because then I start going off on a tangent. And,
No, this is good. Good information.
So, where was I at with this one? Tips. Call police, everything like that. But one of the biggest signs that they do to try to convince you is they try to build rapport. Just like anything else, they're trying to make you feel comfortable, calm, and they try to get you isolated from your family or friends. Create distance. That's what's one of the things they try to do.
That's the main thing.
Keep distance.
Beginning of the conversation, don't tell your family.
Don't tell your family. Why not?
Yes.
Why not? Why can't I tell my family? Who are you? And exactly, like, who are you to tell me not to tell my family?
I told whoever it was, I said, this is not right. He said, you may think it's not right because you're probably religious. That's what he told me.
Well, you need to talk. Tell him you need to talk to God.
There's nothing wrong with this. This may be because you are so religious.
Well, yeah, I'm a good person, but don't take kindness for weakness. Just because I'm kind doesn't mean I'm weak. So that's one of the biggest things. Talk to a friend, talk to anybody, talk to your cops officer, your community engagement team that's in this community. We're out there to help you. Call me. I'll give you the financial crimes section number. We have a lot of investigators out there with over 10 years or 15 years of experience, of law enforcement experience. Who that's what we do. We give back. I'm giving back to the community. We have so many cases, everything, but this is probably one of my top priorities to deter incidents of fraud is basically giving back, talking about this, educating you so you could tell your family, so you could text any of those paperworks. Please, if there's this sheet right here, scam alert, come to the church and pick one of these up. And I challenge you to text this to your friends, family members, anybody who you know. everybody and anybody. Education is the key to stopping fraudsters. So another case we had, while I pray for the seasoned citizens, is called a pigeon drop. Basically, instead of ruse, it's like a theatrical event, how they do it. So it's usually a team of 3, maybe 4. They have their own vehicle. They're about 50, 60 years old, these subjects. I don't call them suspects, but they're subjects, these individuals. What you are doing is you're going to the Giant, Food Lion, Aldi, Safeway, minding your own business, coming out there with the shopping cart, and then going to your car, and this guy comes right behind you and say, "Hey, man, did you drop this purse?" It's a rectangular pouch. What they say, "Oh," and then what do you say? "No, you should send it to the lost and found over there," right? Is that what you usually say? "Hey, why don't you turn it in?" What they do is they open it up, and they say, "Oh, there's a lot of money in here." So they open it up, they show $100 bills, which is not $100 bills, it's motion picture money. They have a derogatory note in there, saying, trying to, whatever community you're at, and they read it, and they say, and then they play with the emotion. And a lot of people say it's greed on, the victim's part as well, but they play with the emotions. What they say is, "Hey, we could split this money or whatever," and get this kicker. Somebody, a female, male, comes from the other side and say, "Hey, what's going on, guys?" Which they're part of the play too. It's an act. And then they said, "Hey, we found this money. What should we do with it?" And then this guy who picked it up saying, "You know what? I work at a bank. Maybe I can go. Let's go to the bank real quick." Which usually there's a Wells Fargo, Bank of America, whatever bank institute is right behind you. These 2 people go in your car, and you drive them to the bank. I guarantee it happened to somebody out there, and we probably have your case, and we solved, we had two strings we solved already in the past year and a half, 2 years. So for there, they go. He says, "I'll be back, but you're facing this way while the bank is there." What does that make sense? If you're going to go to the bank, you're going to go right in front of the bank. So they go to the bank, and they say, "Hey, I just talked to my manager. We said we could put this money in there and do something with the serial numbers." Are you talking about laundering? Basically, they're tricking them. They're just saying that, "Hey, we could split this money. But to clean this money," which is laundering, "let's go to your bank and take out $10,000 to include it." How much money you got? You got. Both of you, this person's saying they're going to put out money too. So you're going to the next bank, and to the next bank taking 10, 20, like at least 30 to 50 to even sometimes $80,000 maybe. And you're giving the money. Now you're putting the money into it, and now you just gave the guy the money. So you could get $100,000 or whatever amount of money you could get. So what happens? Next thing you know, you go back to the bank, and he said, "I'll be back," to go to the bank, and he's gone. Because he says he's the manager at the bank, he's gone. So he leaves. So you're out money. You're about $30,000 now because you went to 2 or 3 banks because you're tricked into this scheme that they got, this theater scheme that we call it a pigeon drop because you're the pigeon or you're the mark, and they prey on emotion, they prey on the money and everything like that. So we had a case a couple of years ago. It started becoming like a trend. Like every week, somebody was getting calling us about this. So we're like, all right, we're gonna have to go look. We're gonna have to go scurry everywhere, all the cameras in the area. So what I did was, I was like, I'm tired of this. I'm going out there. I'm trying to find these cameras, to find any camera anywhere. I actually found a camera by like a Walgreens. It was like one of those top cameras, but it was facing down. So I called them up. I was like, "Hey, do you have any video of this?" So they did, but the camera was really active yet, but it was facing down. But when I went to the Walgreens, I saw Walgreens, CVS, I don't know which one, just in case the suspect's watching me. So what I saw is I saw the video of them going to the bank, coming back with a bag or pouch, and I saw the other suspect vehicle follow them because they don't know that the vehicle's following. You're being followed by another vehicle. So while you're going to different banks. So the other vehicle's following them. So they're just following them just so they could play this game that they're playing, this ruse that they're playing. So I was able to get a video of the person. But then with that camera, what they didn't realize is that vehicle passed it. Well, even though the camera was focused right here, I was able to get a tag number going on the way out. So which ended up being a rental car, and then actually we got to trace it all the way back to a hotel they were staying at, and they left. They went to Florida. They were from Florida and some other place. So we had 2 investigators who went to Florida, you know, and they were doing it in Florida as well. So we picked them up. We did some search warrants, found some more evidence. So right now they're being indicted. So they're being indicted. They're probably going to plea because I'm not, you know, it's them. We got them on video. And it's a scheme that they got going on, this theft scheme. So that was kind of a success story of last year. But you know, it's still going on. The same old stuff comes back and forth. So I'm here to acknowledge you. If you see somebody get a purse, tell them to go return it or go to lost and found at the store. If they show you money, hey, I want nothing to do with it. Go ahead and put it to lost and found because that's not anybody's money here. And they would look for it at the store if it's like thousands and thousands of dollars. I'll be going back. First, I don't even carry, nobody really carries cash on them anymore. They usually carry cards. So that's the pigeon drop. That's one of the trends that's going on. 2, check fraud. We talk about check fraud. I've been going away from the scams and talk about check fraud. Do not put your checks in the blue mailbox. We're working with Postal, but you know, as everybody, I don't know if everybody watches the news that hear the postal men get robbed. You know what they're getting robbed for? They're the key to the postal box. Washing checks. Yeah, so what they're doing is, so this is what they're doing. There's a couple ways they're doing it. So they get your checks from the mail, and what they do is there's a routing number and account number there. So obviously they could, if they have a printer and everything like that, and you have the paper, they could print out your account number, routing number without even washing the check. Washing the check is you like brake fluid and all this other stuff. You can look it up on YouTube, and basically it eliminates the ink on it, and you could just write over it. You can change the amount of number. Yeah, but you got to think about it. What's on that? What is the most important thing on that check? And the routing number, the bank number. So once they got that, you're done. Once they got that, they could copy and send it to any bank they want to. So that's a big epidemic that's going on, and we're working with the postal inspectors to actually, you know, we work partners with them, and we had big cases that we solved already. Between me and another postal worker, we had one that's local in the county. We did a search warrant in the house. We actually found the freaking bin, the postal bin in his house, in a car. I know, how much evidence do you need? The actual bin in his house, you know? And it actually was on the news. Actually, it was a federal case. They got federally charged, and they pleaded in federal court because there was nothing they could do. They had all the mail in the house and everywhere. So that's what they were doing. They were going around, going in the mail boxes, taking the mail, and then counterfeiting them, going through social media. That's why social media, they could go through social media, through Instagram, whatever, solicit younger. That's why you got to tell these younger kids these days, you know, don't fall for that because it's quick, easy money. You're going to get a charger yourself. These 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, they don't know better. They should know. They know it's wrong. But they don't know the ramifications of having a criminal charge on your record. You know, what happens if people want to go to government jobs or secret, people don't think the future like that. So they solicit these young kids, and then basically what they do check fraud. You go in their account, put the checks in their mail, and then we go in and we charge them. And they can't say nothing because they put a counterfeit check in their mail, in their checking account. So that's a big one. Check fraud is a big one. So be careful with the blue boxes. Go inside. That's my tip. Go inside. Certified mail. because it's tracked. If it's tracked, what they can do? They have to pay you out because it's tracked. It's a little bit more money, but it's tracked. That's one of the trends. Another trend that I have right now is also, everybody knows about the skimming devices. I was gonna get to that. It's a big. So what happened was it's been a while. So it's a group. I don't want to say where. Kind of like Baltimore, I think Baltimore, but there's different groups out there. They're doing the overlays. I don't have a picture of it. I wish I had a picture of it. I'm gonna have to send you a text, maybe a text of a picture of it, or everybody could look online at what a skimming device looks like. So what they do is the point of sale, POS, point of sale transaction. So they have like these the overlays over your point of sale where you swipe into like a Food Lions, Safeway, 7-Eleven, Family Dollar. Yeah, they're like a lot of them are smart. They got the stuff like, but a lot of them like 7-Eleven or stuff. They're getting better. But they put overlays over your point of sale transaction machines, point of sale machines. So it's an overlay. It looks exactly like the one that's on the bottom. So a lot of times they either put the chip in, and sometimes they can put malware in the chip, and next thing you know, it forces you to malfunction, and now you have to swipe. So behind these credit cards is called a magnetic strip reader. Basically, it's your card information. And what that is once you swipe it down, and you give them access, it's in an SD card, and it downloads into that little SD card. And basically, it's remote, so they actually don't have to be in there to pick up the whole SD card. They could just remotely Bluetooth to their computer or whatever. So now they have your credit card information. The biggest thing is the EBT cards because they don't have a chip. But I was speaking with the what is it, social? Who deals with the EBTs? Department of Social Services. They have these app now. What they do is so you could turn the app on and off for your card if you want to use your card. So look at an app, go to their website. I believe it's the Department of Social Services in Maryland. There's an app that they have right now. So that's the biggest thing. That's one of the biggest trends right now. They go in batches when it comes to the springtime. They have a group of people who goes around and puts it on, the overlays on. So what they do is a lot of stuff that they're trying to do is they're trying to purchase like I don't know if you ever seen like tape on top of it. On top of the point of sales, I don't know if you know where you swipe at. There's like a tape on top. They try to do a security feature where it looks like it's not been tampered, or they put like a hard cover over it so nobody could put anything on top. They've been doing some kind of features such as that. Anybody have a question about the skimmers? So a lot of the ATM ones, a lot with the ATMs is what they do is if they do want an ATM. It used to be the green, where you go in there and it's like the green. The reader is the green, so they put an overlay over top of it. What they used to have is a pinhole camera on top of it. So what they do is they get your card, and then now they get your PIN number too because of a pinhole camera. So now they got your card number and they go around here and purchase everything. A lot of times now I don't even use my debit card. I use my credit card for everything. It's harder to get money back from your debit checking than your credit card. So I use a lot of credit now. I just tap and go, tap and go, tap and go. That's what I do.
Does it apply when you tap your card?
No. Tapping is good. They don't get right now. right now. Let's knock on wood right now because technology it's evolving, especially with AI and everything like that. I don't have much information about AI because I know people are going to ask about that. It's artificial intelligence. It's just coming up. I still got to contact Secret Service about getting some training information about the AI. Because AI. We could go into AI. You could copy voices now, right? Yeah. So how do you stop that? And so it's going to be a problem. So let's hope like there's some solutions to that. Voice authorization, whatever.
Okay, I heard on one of the community calls that I was on, this one young lady said, if someone calls and it have you to say things like yes I approve. They'll tell you to say yes, I approve, or yes, I. They could actually record that and use that for identity and fraud as well. Is that? Have you heard of any of those?
I haven't heard that yet. No I haven't seen no reports yet on that.
Yeah, they were saying they get you to say certain words.
But
Like
I heard of
yeah,
it, but I haven't got any
information about it.
I hope I don't get no reports on that. I'm just hoping, but I haven't got anything yet. But like I said, I'm trying to work with like the other agency to see if I can get more training information I can put out.
Is that why you get 1,000 potential spams on your phone?
Spams has always been there. Phones was your phone, like text messages, or like the email. Emails, spam's been always there. I get a million spams. It's always been there. They're just scam artists over there. They're just trying to get money, just like everyone else. I wish they could control that, but. Yeah, you know what I get a lot of? UPS. Man, I'm like, I didn't get no UPS. I want a package. It's tempting. I want a package, but I gotta watch out because I don't want nobody getting. I don't want to give the keys to my kingdom. I want keys to my phone. Your phone is your computer, so you could treat your phone just like your computer. Get yourself a VPN. That's basically voice. It's basically to secure your phone. My brother says he has Norton antivirus on his phone, but Apple. I have Apple, so I heard they're still one of the best for security, but you still get it. So no matter what, you're not safe anywhere. So yes. Everybody have any questions so far? While I wind down, this is probably my last topic right now is identity theft. And then I'll go to more questions. So we talked about, so I have this pamphlet right here. It basically talks to monitor your family's credit. It talks about the check system. I never dealt with the check system too much. But everybody been mostly everybody's information is out there. Just letting everybody know, no matter who you are, everybody's information. If you was in the government, I was in the government through the OPM breach or Target, even Target. I mean, there's a lot of breaches out there. Your information's out there. So my thing is somebody got like AT&T, like 5 phones in my name. I was like, man, and it's like personal, when somebody takes your information, it's like personal. So what you do with identity theft? So somebody takes a lot of times your information's out there. What they do is they could get it. What I've seen a lot and who I locked up and charged people with, I charge people with identity theft is they get somebody and a lot of it's online. They get your personal information, get a fake driver's license with your personal information and your details, and sometimes they even have everything. What is it? The confirmation word. What is those 3 things you have to do when you? Your security word, security password. Yeah, security questions. So your security questions, you sometimes people do the same security questions. And if you have not updated them, update them because a lot of times they could go online and open up bank accounts. What I seen was one of my cases was they had a U.S. Treasury check. It got mailed to somebody's old house in like D.C. or something like that. The guy went into a TD Bank and with his information and tried to open up an account. It was caught. Thank goodness it was caught. But when I interviewed the person, he basically said, "Oh, I got it online. You get everything online." The dark web is part of it. Is part of the dark web.
They can steal title to your house like that too.
Well, I have one of my partners. He deals with real estate, and he's big on that. They have like kind of like portals, and they have like little levels that try to prevent it. So a lot of times that's kind of rare, but it can slip through the cracks. But most of the time they have layers where it gets to the title in the actual accounting, because sometimes you have to. That's another ball game right there. But most of the time they have levels, right? They have levels. a lot of times they get your information and you get a driver's license or whatever, or they go online, they shop in your information, get accounts, and switch your address on say to get you a Walmart or Sam's Club or whatever card that you get, and Amazon's the big one, and they send it to another address. A lot of times is, even if you catch it and you call us, the address of the box that they send it to it's a vacant house or vacant, so it's not a real person's house that they send a package to. Even though Amazon will clear you and everything, I know everybody wants blood. They want to get that perpetrator who stole your identity, but they try to get a couple steps ahead of us by putting it at a different location. Sometimes, if we're lucky, if it's a real good case and we're able to do surveillance and watch somebody pick up the package, then we could just grab them real quick.
Okay, I can speak to that one. That actually happened to me when I was working. And they believe that the person who did it had maybe stood behind me in a store when I had my credit card, when I was using my credit card, and they were able to get that information. They placed an order for I think it was like $5,000 worth of merchandise, and they had it mailed to a vacant place that they went and then picked it up. And it was a thing that they had going on. So I've actually dealt with that one.
Yeah, and those are one of the cases. I go there, I'm like, oh, it's vacant, and they already either picked it up, or hopefully we could try to contact, if you or whoever contacts the mail, will be like, hey, return to sender. Yeah. That's the only good thing about that.
Actually dealt with it.
And remember I told you about Lyft and Uber? Sometimes they pick up the package at other person's house. He's like, hey, I was told to pick it up, and they're using Uber and Lyft and all these I would say taxi cab companies, but companies to actually do their unlawful actions. So what do you do? You do the 3 credit bureaus. So anybody who's not here, please, there's an identity theft booklet. That's the camera, right? Okay, I want to make sure. I've been going the whole day, and I don't. Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. You're able to check your credit once a year. Everybody knows that? Does everybody ever check your credit? How often? How often do you check your credit history, credit report? You don't do it? So annualcreditreport.com, you get a free credit report from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion once a year. You know what you do? You check it and make sure that nobody has checked all your information, where you live at, because what's a key sign if you look at a report and another address is there? It's like, I never lived there. That's kind of like a key. Or who ran your credit? Because I don't deal with auto theft, but that's even another thing. And one day I'm going to bring another auto theft unit, an auto theft detective, because he will talk about title fraud and all the other stuff. So that's different. They deal with that, but check your credit. Check for any discrepancies, because there's a list of if you use credit cards or anything like that, or take out loans, you'll see. What I do is I have an Experian app that I use. Obviously I change my password every so often, so nobody could go on my Experian app, but I check it mostly every day. The good thing about Experian or LifeLock, because LifeLock's another one, you have to pay it. I'd rather pay my $20 a month, because I feel a little bit more secure about my credit. What I do is I freeze it. So I freeze my credit. I unfreeze it only if I'm getting a loan or something like that. I did have to get a loan for a deck, because I wanted a deck in my house, so I get a loan. So what I did was, you know what I did? I kept it frozen, and I applied for the loan. And you know what happened? They did not give me the loan. They told me to call the bank. So it works. It does work. So I unlocked it, I called the bank and said, hey, it's unfrozen. They went through, got my loan, and then I froze it right back. So freezing your credit will save a lot of headaches if your identity is out there. So a couple tips. especially with web. Like everybody, usually most people don't like to give difficult passwords, but change your passwords. I'll say every month or so, yeah, or as often as you can. It's hard to remember, but you would have to change your password and make sure it's not your significant other. People, because you never know. People might look you up online on Facebook. They'll say, "Oh, you're married to Susan. Oh, let's do Susan 1111." You never know. I mean, and don't make no easy passwords on your PIN number either. 1111 01234. Just make things a little difficult, because that's what we can do. We make it difficult for the fraudsters out there. Let's make it tough for them. I challenge everybody to make it tough for them, because we're in it together. Anybody have any questions, even the group out there?
But we also have to be security conscious because we actually give out a lot of our information unknowingly. We give it even if it's over the phone, through email, through text. So
It's out there. Yeah, you're right.
sometimes we give it to them and don't realize that we're giving them our information.
Yeah. Don't give anybody your social security number. Why you need my social? You don't need my social security number. What do you need it for? Are you a bank? I will talk to the bank. I will call the bank and I'll give it to it if I feel comfortable. If you do not feel comfortable, don't do it. If you have that little, like something inside you saying something's wrong, your gut, it might be wrong. Reach out to somebody. Reach out to me.
Okay. What about the last 4 digits?
Of your social?
Yeah.
And that's where we're going at. Don't give it out.
Let's don't give nothing.
Don't give it nothing out. You don't need to give out your information. Hey, I'll call you. Don't ask them for a number, because they'll give you the number that they want to give you. Get another number. Depending if you recognize the number and know it, but you still got to be careful with that, because there's apps out there that can change the number and make it seem like it's another number from like a water company or whatever, Comcast or whatever, and get your information like that. So that's why I said be careful. Call the actual official phone number from the official website.
But I'm not sure she's talking about, because there's sometimes like if you call the bank to verify you.
But if you call the bank,
Yeah, so if you're calling the bank and they
different.
want to verify you, yeah, I just want to make sure she understood that.
Yeah, I understand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Most time I don't give it to anyone.
that's good. Don't give it.
All the credit.
Great.
And I know they are not going. Nobody else.
Don't do it. Anybody else have any questions? I know there's an online feed. Anybody got any more questions for me?
I'm not seeing any online. The one that we had, we asked, and I don't see any others out here. So if you all have some, speak now or
Or give me a
forever
call.
hold your peace. Or yeah,
I'll give you my phone number if anybody want to take a pen out or anything like that. The financial crime section phone number. This is people online. I can tell you guys when after, if you want. 301 516 1464. Let's see if I put it on here. I thought I put it on here. Oh, it's on this one. And also we have our non-emergency number, 311 or 301 352 1200. And I know you guys at the church put that out as well, right? Correct? That's not, so you can always call that, ask them to transfer to the financial crime section, and they'll give us a call. And if you need, like, we usually have somebody on call every day, just in case someone there's an incident that happens. But it's 301 516 1464.
okay. So we have something that happened to someone. So she says, I had my card blocked from Amazon. Amazon Prime, games, Uber Eats. You got to be careful. For months, I was paying subscription fees, and I don't even have any of them. And then they have a chat going on here. I bet you still ate the food.
Uh,
Set up a code that the only food I eat. I can. Okay, that's something else. I'm not gonna say it.
But you know what? And this is why I like getting feedback from you guys, because you guys been through something, and you guys actually handled these issues as well, personally. So I like this back and forth feedback, so you guys could give your point of view as well.
So I have a question. They said that their card was blocked. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So if their card was blocked, how were they able to use it?
Were they able to use it if it was blocked?
They had their card blocked. They got their
Who had the card blocked? The person that was approached.
Yeah, the person that had the card. She had to block it.
Oh, she had to block.
She had to block it.
Yes. I mean, if that's the case, you just got to call Amazon, call the customer service to try to get that situated, because you never know. I'm telling you, with the evolution of this whole, this is just evolving technology. Also, if anybody want to report any internet crimes to the FBI, there's a website called ic3.gov. ic3.gov. It's monitored by the FBI. It's solely internet crimes. And let me give you guys a number for the actual. See if I can find it real quick. I want to give you a number to Secret Service, because just in case somebody's out of my area and they have questions about fraud. Just let me go find it real quick. Okay, for anybody who wants to call Secret Service, because they're big with fraud too, and you're not in my area, or if you want to still call them, the number for Secret Service is 202 406 8800. Two zero two 406 8800. That's U.S. Secret Service, United States Secret Service. Just they deal with bank account takeovers, just in case there's an emergency, and you can't and say, hey, somebody took over my bank account, and they are able to if you wire money, somebody wires money somewhere overseas, they could possibly try and stop it. So they could attempt to stop it from going further. It's not guaranteed, depending on how much time you wait. You wait, but they have a mechanism they could assist with that. If there's no any further questions, I want to thank you for your time. Appreciate your time listening to me. I know I could probably. I like talking. If there was more people here, I guarantee you we would have been here another 2 hours. But I thank you also in the back. Thank you for your questions and feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sergeant Cruz. That was definitely helpful. I learned some new pieces, things that I didn't recognize or realize that was going on. So thank you so much for that.
Next time I'm going to try to bring retired Sergeant Sheehan back. She loves doing this.
Yes, she does. She does. She did the one that I was a part of, and she did do an excellent job. But you did a great job, too.
We used to go back and forth.
Okay.
And you will be here 4 hours if we're both here.
Yes, yes. It's a lot of information, but it's all helpful. So hopefully something you heard or a piece of paper you received was helpful. For those that are online, if you weren't here, if you come to church tomorrow, if you come in the building, then you'll have an opportunity to grab them. We'll have them out in the lobby area somewhere where you can actually pick them up and receive the same information we received today. So thank you for attending. I guess we're going to get ready to sign off. Thanks for all that actually came out in the rain to hear about this. It is important, and it is really happening. It's not a joke. It's real because I've dealt with it myself, and I'm sure you all as well. So thank you again. We appreciate you. Appreciate your service overall, your 20 years. We appreciate it. So
Thank you. Well, I'm a veteran as well, so thank you everybody who's veterans out there for your service.
okay, there you go. He thanks all veterans. All right, so we're gonna sign off now. Take care. See you all tomorrow.